There was a village hidden deep in the heart of West Africa, a village where the drums never slept. Soft drum begins slowly, dum, dum. The village was called Kuro. It rested between tall iroko trees, wide fields of millet, and a river that moved through the land like a black serpent under the moonlight. By day, Kuro was peaceful. Women sang as they pounded yam. Children ran barefoot through dusty paths, laughing as the wind chased them. Hunters returned at sunset with antelope over their shoulders, and smoke from cooking fires curled gently into the evening sky. It was a village that looked like any other. But when darkness fell, when the moon climbed high, and when the wind dragged whispers through the forest, the drums began. Drums grow deeper. Not the drums of celebration, not the drums of weddings, not the drums of harvest festivals. These drums spoke with a rhythm that crawled into people's bones. Dum, 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 all through the night, every night, never stopping, never sleeping. The people of Kuro had learned long ago not to ask questions. When the drums began, they closed their doors. They kept their children inside, and they ignored the strange voices that sometimes whispered in the dark, even if the voice sounded like a mother, a brother, or a friend. Because in Kuro there was one rule every child knew: quiet pause. When the drums call your name, do not answer. Tajudeen. But fear is a seed, and the deeper it is buried, the stronger it grows. In that village lived a boy named Tajudeen, 15 seasons old, sharp-eyed, restless, and brave in a way that sometimes looked very much like foolishness. Tajudeen was the grandson of Mama Sade, one of the oldest women in Kuro. He had grown up hearing the drums every night of his life. He had watched grown men fall silent whenever the forest was mentioned. He had seen women draw protective symbols in ash above their doors before sunset. And one evening, as he helped his grandmother sort kola nuts, he finally asked the question no one dared ask. "What are we hiding from?" Mama Sade's hands froze. Her cloudy eyes lifted slowly toward him. "Not everything hidden," she said quietly, "is meant to be found." "That is what everyone says." "Then perhaps everyone is wiser than you." Tajudeen shook his head. A village cannot live forever in fear of a sound. Mama Sad's face hardened. "It is not the sound we fear." Drum hit suddenly. Dum! Outside the hut, birds burst into the sky. Dum, dum, dum! Doors slammed across the village. Fires were covered. Voices vanished. The night had begun. Mama Sade stood quickly. "Inside!" But Tajudeen did not move. "Tell me the truth." For a moment, the old woman said nothing. Then she whispered a name that had not been spoken in years. "The drums belong to the forest shrine, and the shrine belongs to the Onijina, a thing that listens." The whisper. That night, Tajudeen lay awake on his mat. The drums pounded through the darkness. Dum, 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 dum. Then something changed. Between two beats, he heard a whisper. "Tajudeen." His body froze. Again the voice came, closer this time. "Tajudeen." He remembered the rule. When the drums call your name, do not answer. Outside the hut, something scraped against the wall. Footsteps circled the house, bare feet in the dust. Then a voice spoke at the door, a voice Tajudeen knew too well. "My son, open the door." It was his father's voice, but his father had been dead for 3 years. "My son," the voice said again, "I am cold." Tajudeen clenched his fists. The drums pounded louder. Sweat rolled down his face, but he stayed silent. At last, the footsteps faded away. The missing child. At dawn, the drums stopped, as they always did, but something had changed. In the center of the village, people gathered around the hut of the blacksmith. His daughter, a baby, was gone. Her mat lay empty. The door had been barred from the inside, but on the floor rested a single object, a drumstick carved from bone. "The forest has taken tribute," the chief said, but Tajudeen stepped forward. Then we must go after her." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "If you go," the chief warned, "you will become another child we mourn." But Tajuddin saw something hidden in the chief's eyes. Shame. The elders knew more than they had ever said. Into the forest. That night, Tajuddin met his friend Nafi, daughter of the village diviner. "You heard your name too," he said. She nodded slowly. 3 nights now. They left the village under the moon, carrying a spear, a lantern, and charms. The drums began the moment they reached the forest. Dum, 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 dum. Inside the trees, the air felt wrong, too thick, too quiet. No insects sang, no owls called. Then Nafi grabbed Tajuddin's arm. Ahead in the moonlight stood 6 children. Among them, a baby. But something was wrong. Their eyes were empty, their smiles were wrong, and their feet hovered just above the ground. All 6 heads turned at once, and the children spoke with one ancient voice. "Who answers the hunger?" "The monster." The forest shook, branches twisted, and from the shadows something enormous unfolded, a creature wrapped in ritual cloth, antelope horns, masks fused together, and inside its hollow chest, a drum beating by itself. "Dum, dum, dum, the Onijina." "You break the covenant," the creature said, but Nafi stepped forward. The covenant was broken long ago. Tajuddin understood then. The creature had been fed not only by sacrifice, but by fear, by silence, by generations of terror. And if fear had fed it, perhaps courage could destroy it. The battled Tajuddin raised his spear. "That drum," he said, "it is the heart." The creature lunged. The forest exploded with sound. "Dum!" The drumbeat slammed into Tajuddin like thunder, but he kept moving. He charged forward and drove the spear straight into the hollow chest. For one terrible moment, nothing happened. Then Nafi threw the bone drumstick. It struck the drum. Crack! The drum burst. The creature screamed, masks shattered. Red fire burst into the night. "Run!" Nafi shouted. They fled as the shrine collapsed behind them. The drums pounded wildly, faster, slower, then silence. The end of the drums. They reached the village just before sunrise. "What have you done?" the chief whispered. Tajuddin looked toward the forest. "The drums have stopped." And they had. That night, for the first time in generations, darkness fell over Kuro without a single drumbeat. No whispers, no scratching at the doors, no voices of the dead, only silence. And slowly, the village learned to live without fear. The final warning. But the elders still tell the story, because sometimes, on moonless nights, if you press your ear to the roots of the fallen shrine, you may hear something faint beneath the earth. Not a full rhythm, not the old hunger, just a distant echo, dumb, as though something ancient still dreams in the darkness, waiting for fear to feed it again.